welcome back to more Persona 1. So, I beat the game, or spec route last time, so I decided that to start off the host game, I guess, why don't I talk about the highest level Personas in a lot of the Arcanas. We're not going to be talking about all the Arcanas, I'm mainly going to be skipping over Arcana that I've kind of already shown what like the highest level Persona of the Arcana is, or I'm going to be showing soon. So yeah, there won't be any Pyrojack here for lovers, there won't be any Janus for Star, there won't be Succubus for Moon, those are the ones that come to mind. So instead we're going to be talking about the rest. So, and we're going to be going down the Fool's Journey for this, so we're going to be starting off with number 0 in the Tarot deck. That will be Kamakura Gongoro. He was a samurai that fought for the Minamoto clan in the Gosanen War during Japan's Heian period, and apparently continued fighting despite losing one of his eyes. So this is actually the only game he makes an appearance in, but I think he's kind of popular in Japanese culture. Anyway, he's a full persona, so he needs to be made with a fusion accident. Or you use the method to trigger a summoning of full persona. Which, yeah, you can look that up. I'm not going to be abusing that myself because in full personas, like I said, during the main playthrough, they're really strong. Especially him, being the highest level, of course. But yeah, he resists everything, he can be used by everyone, his stats are good, and he has a great selection of attacks. He has Drumroll Punch, which can do decent damage. Mirakidyne, that's great. Sonic Bullet, I've actually seen many personas with that attack, but I guess it seems pretty decent. Ma-Eha, Ma-Koha, and then finally Megidolon. So yeah, he's got a lot of attacks for a lot of situations. So yeah, he's well equipped to basically tear apart most random encounters, which is quite amazing. Finally, he returns for the Ameno Nuboko, which is by far Hiyuko's best lance. It's strong, it hits 6 times, but yeah, you have to have good luck to get it because of course, fusion accident. And yeah, one more thing I should mention too, low SP cost because yeah, he's a full persona. Which, that's generally the case. Full persona are just made to be overpowered. And yeah, he definitely is. He's definitely a great persona. One of the best we're going to be seeing today. So yeah, nothing really else to say. I'm not going to go into too much details with some of these because yeah, I don't feel the need really, especially because yeah, we don't really have a character to talk about in relation to them. It's mainly just the persona themselves. So yeah, I think we're just gonna move on now to the next persona. Next up with Magician we have Ildana. So he functions a lot like what we're gonna be seeing a lot today. So yeah, I guess we're going to be going over a couple of things with him. But anyway, he's also known as Lu, and in some games he's also known as Lu. And Ildana is the great sun god of the Celts, making him one of the most important gods in Irish mythology. He is portrayed in many roles like a warrior and a king due to his mastery of many disciplines. It is also stated that he fathered Cuchulainn, and like him he wields a mighty spear called Brionac. So, for fusion, I guess we should mention here, my fusion notes, they're just going to be going over some important things that I noticed in my research when it comes to fusing these. But anyway, so his totem is called the Dorner's Ore. You need to return Owen Bar for that, and max strength of course. Which shouldn't be too bad because yeah, Owen Bar is a very low level persona. He also needs a special fusion, so now a lot of these high level personas, again, they need a special fusion. Kind of like in later Persona games that require like specific things to be fused. This is the case here. He wants Cufflute and Chrome Chrome. And this results in a white suck fusion, so no skill entrance. So yeah, what you see with that skill set is what you get. So he's very offensive on both sides, as you can tell by his stats. And he learns a lot of great attacks with that. He starts with Archetype, that's great. He gets Deathbound, which is good physical damage of course. Miragion, which, yeah, it's not as good as Archetype, but Miragidyne, yeah, that's a lot better. Bright Judgement, that's a great attack, of course. It's a rare light-based attack, and yeah, that's gonna help you out a lot against some random cards. And then finally, Burning Sphere, another physical attack, could be useful. especially the enemies immune to magic. But Bright Judgment might also be good, so yeah, he's pretty well equipped to do lots of damage. Of course, he does have his resistance aren't bad, but yeah, he's definitely not supposed to be a tank. He's supposed to be used as a very offensive persona, and yeah, he can serve that role pretty good. Of course, he is very expensive. Most of these personas are going to be very pricey on the SP cost, but you might be able to handle it. It's because of how quickly they end fights too, that shouldn't be too much of a problem. But anyway, the last thing I'm going to be talking about is that he returns for the Brionak, as you'd expect. It's a 0 to 7 hitting sword for Nanjo, so it has the potential to do more damage than the Amena Murakumo, which you get for returning Yatagrasu, but of course it's less consistent. So yeah, that's Ildana. I didn't mention this, but yeah, the design I'm using, it's a Soul Hacker's design, so technically not a design that fits with this game, but that's okay. I'm just going to be using whatever I can dig up, basically, in terms of official artwork, but yeah. So that's Ildana, a very good magician persona. If you're able to fuse him, he will definitely serve you quite well offensively. And if you can keep him protected from his weaknesses, then yeah, he's gonna tear things up in the battlefield. Anyway, on to the next one. Next up we have Schooled for the Priestess Arcana. So she actually has official art for Persona 1, which some of these high level personas actually do, so yeah, that's kind of another reason why I wanted to do that. Kind of a good way to show some of the new persona designs, I guess, but anyway. So, Schooled, she's also one of the trios of Norns, and yeah, we have seen the other two, those being Ud and Fudandi, but anyway. So yeah, she's one of the trio of Norns that decides man's fate, with her name possibly meaning what shall be. It's also said that she may have been a Valkyrie too, so not much to say there. She needs the term Avenir, not so sure how to pronounce that. You need to return Ud for that, and Ud is also a term fusion as well. She needs the present to be fused, which yeah, depends on depends on the route where you get that, but it is a bit hard to get in Snow Queen from what I've read. But anyway, she needs a special fusion too between Ouroboros and Fafnir, which results in a white up arrow fusion. And none of these demons pass down skills, so no skill is good. But anyway, her stats, yeah, they're good. Lots of decks like most Priestess Personas, so she's going to be hitting quite hard with her magical attacks. And her SP cost is actually not bad, to be honest. 45 isn't terrible for such a high level persona. And yeah, good magic attack. Her stats are definitely well equipped for her to do her role. So anyway, what's kind of weird about her though is her affinities, elemental affinities. She now, unlike other Priestess Personas, they're very different. She repels all physical attacks, but is weak to most magic, so kind of a weird trade-off, but it does make her stand out more when compared to other Priestess Personas, like maybe Vedandi for example, which yeah, you're probably using on Maki. And then Schooled could be like a physical counterpart to that, I guess. Maybe that was the idea. But anyway, she's a great healer. She gets both Medea Rahan and Samarikon. So yeah, there shouldn't be anything that she cannot heal for you. Her other skills are also pretty good too. Eternal Black can be very useful. It hits bosses of course, and it really damages light-based enemies. She gets Diran as well for some weird reason. Medea Rahan's obviously better. And then finally Hieroglyphin. And yeah, this is great for the optional bosses that we have to deal with, because pretty much all of them are weak to Hieroglyphin. So if you get her, she'll make things a lot easier for you. Last up on the list, she returns for a Full Moon Tablet, which isn't worth it because you can buy that at the Satomi Dashi. So yeah, that's Schooled, the highest level priestess, like I said. And yeah, she is kind of weird but kind of interesting at the same time. And yeah, I actually really like the design too in this game. It looks really cool. But anyway, on to the next one. Next up, I'm going to be seeing quite a common theme here for these highest level personas. A lot of them actually come from Hindu mythology, and our first one on the list is going to be the Empress Kali. So, Kali means black or black one in Hindi/Sanskrit. Her name has also come to mean goddess of time, as despite being depicted as a violent and fierce deity, she's also worshipped as a mother goddess, as she became revered as a redeemer of the universe. Her consort is Lord Shiva, and she is usually shown standing on his body. There's a lot of images of that associated with Kali, but anyway, this connection to Shiva could also come from Kali being an aspect of the body, which is of course Shiva's wife. So anyway, to fuse her, she needs the Kolkata souvenir, because I guess I could mention about this souvenir. I'm not, or two of them should be saying. I'm not familiar with what all of them mean, but I do know that the Kolkata souvenir, of course, it references the fact that she's worshipped there. That's a place in India, of course. There's also where my mother was born. Interesting. But anyway, so you get this from Miyasudokuru, which is an enemy. So you need to hope that it drops this and get it. And she also needs a special fusion between Dakini and Dawan, which results in a white circle fusion, so no skill inheritance. So yeah, I imagine her as kind of an upgrade over Durga. She learns very similar skills, and of course being high level, she has better stats. So she has a strong focus on vitality and luck. She has a good magic attack, of course. And yeah, her weaknesses are basically what you expect from Empress Persona. So in terms of skills, she's quite a good mix attacker, again, like Durga was. She has Greedine, which is alright. Triple Slice is pretty good. Dioran, she can actually back up heal a little bit too. Mark Greedine, which is of course probably better than Greedine in most circumstances. And then finally Eternal Black. So she's kind of well equipped to do decent damage. Yeah, like I said, she is very similar to Durga. So that could be a good thing or bad thing. Good thing because yeah, she's stronger than Durga. Bad thing because she's a lot higher level. So yeah, you may not like feel like you need her or something like that. So yeah, like I said, kind of a blessing because she's very similar to Yukino's Ultimate Persona. But I guess that also means they can basically get Yukino's Ultimate Persona on someone else if you really want. But anyway, the last thing we need to talk about is that she returns for the wall tablet, which again, you can buy that this time in the casino, so again, not worth it probably. So yeah, that's Kali. She also has a new design in Persona 1. It looks pretty interesting, and something funny about it is that there's actually some official art of her with Maki, but Maki's bad with Empress Personas, which is kind of funny in my opinion, but anyway. Let's go on to the next one. Time for the most important persona here probably to talk about, as well as the main reason why I made this video in the first place. Vishnu of the Emperor Arcana. So, Vishnu, if you could tell from, if you took a sneak peek at the visual notes, then yeah, this is supposed to be like the Orpheus Telos of this game. Basically like the ultimate persona for the protagonist. And yeah, I guess kind of an upgrade over Amun-Ra, but well, we'll get into that. But also, Vishnu is also the ultimate persona for Naoya Todo in the manga. This is what he was given instead of Amun-Ra, which is kind of interesting. But anyway, so I'm gonna go into more detail here because yeah, Vishnu is kind of a big deal in this game. You're gonna see him a lot in some artwork and even on the game cover itself. So yeah. So Vishnu, he is one of the Trimurti, as known as the Preserver, as he maintains balance within the world. He also rides on the back of Garuda, and sleeps on the back of the great Naga, Nata Shesha, and his wife is Lakshmi. One of Vishnu's biggest impacts is his avatars, which are the different forms he represents himself as in different worlds, and the use of the word avatar comes from its use in Hinduism. Because yeah, it's not just Vishnu has different avatars, the other Hindu deities also have some different avatars too. But anyway, it's commonly believed that Vishnu starts as the fish avatar Matsya, where he plays a role in the story of the first human, Manu, all the way to his last avatar Kalki, which marks the end of the universe with creation starting anew. His two most well-known avatars though are Rama, who is the hero of the epic Ramayana, with the story leading to the creation of the most popular Hindu festival, Diwali, of course. It's when Rama comes back from Lanka after he defeats the demon king Ravana. And yeah, Ravana is also the king of the Rakshasas, by the way. Anyway, his other important avatar is Krishna, the Mahabharata avatar, with his stories also being well known to Hindus. I do remember some of his stories from his childhood. Krishna was kind of a he's definitely a very lively child, let's just say. But anyway, these avatars are probably the reason why Vishnu is considered the ultimate persona in Persona 1, as it mirrors the characters take on different personalities by using different personas, like how Vishnu takes on different personalities through his avatars. So, how do you get Vishnu? Well, I did kind of talk about, I have it written down in the future notes, but let's go into more detail. So, he takes a lot of time and effort to get his term the avatar. You need to obtain all 142 spell cards at least once. So yeah, basically what you need to do is you need to, well, contact and negotiate with every enemy in the game. This is a lot harder than it sounds, because even though no enemy technically is missable because of the Mikage runes, you're gonna if you decide to wait and do this at the end of the game, you're gonna get fed up because of course the Mikage runes, the encounter rate for each specific encounter is gonna get lower. So because there's more encounters. So yeah, what you should do if you want to get the avatar is you want to basically recruit every enemy as soon as they become available. So this is something you need to plan ahead at the start of the playthrough, and yeah, that's one of the main reasons why I decided not to do it, because of course it's a very big hassle. And also means another thing too, the highest level spell card you need is level 75. So that also means that your party needs to be at least level 75 average level, which is quite difficult. I'm currently grinding and I'm not even close to level 75 average level. Anyway, so, and also yeah, he's level 86 too, so yeah, you're gonna probably take a while getting to him as well. But anyway, so yeah, if you want to do this, I recommend having a spreadsheet and then writing down all the spell cards that you obtain. That will help you out a lot. But anyway, once you get the last spell card, the enemy that enemy will also give you the avatar. So anyway, now he also has a special fusion on top. You need Gandharva and Yakshini, which results in a white downward pointing arrow fusion, and this can allow Vishnu to inherit Mahama from Yakshini. You could get Gandharva's skills here, but I don't think you can actually get it, so yeah, you definitely want Mahama. Mahama's definitely a bit more useful. But anyway, so what do you get for all this hard work? You get a persona that's extremely average, I'm sorry to say. His stats are good for a Emperor persona. Of course, he's got good strength, he's got a good agility too, his magic attack's not bad. And the main problem is his skills. Nothing here is super great. And really helps him stand out. And also, yeah, he still has a massive SP cost like most of these late game personas. But anyway, his main gimmick is that he has lots of coverage. You can have, alongside Mahama, you can also have Garudine, Magdadine, and Bufudine. So yeah, he'll have lots of coverage, sure, but it's all element coverage except for Mahama. He also gets Earth Slicer 2 at max strength. That can also be more coverage, but yeah. Nothing here also multi-targets, so its crowd control capabilities are kind of bad as well. And yeah, I kind of wish he got a lot more than just single target heavy spells, to be honest. But yeah, and yeah, last card I mentioned, Marankaran. Most Emperor personas have some kind of status attack. Charm is definitely pretty good, but Odin I think wins out with Petra Eyes, which is probably a lot stronger. But yeah, that's the thing, the other high level Emperor personas I feel do a lot more than he does. Odin, like I mentioned, he's definitely not as strong, but he has Petra Eyes, which is actually pretty good. Baal has Bright Judgment, and can be given bullets in his fusion, so he can become extremely strong because of that. And is a lot better against the final boss than Vishnu will ever be. And then finally, Amun-Ra has Hieroglypher, which is also really good against the final boss. And yeah, also good against the post-game bosses too, because yeah, all of them get shredded by Hieroglypher, and he doesn't even come with it. So yeah, like I said, Vishnu is just really underwhelming. He can be used by the people he normally, the Emperor personas. Yeah, he can only be used by whoever can use Emperor personas. So yeah, best with protagonist, then he'd be bad with Nancho, worse than Reiji. Yeah, these affinities, they're gonna be basically the same unless I say anything different. I should also mention his weaknesses. They are a little bit different. They're kind of like the weaknesses for a flight race. So he's weak to arrows and guns quite a bit. Although guns, you're not gonna actually see them that much in the post game. But yeah, and then he comes with some nulls. So he does have probably better elemental things compared to most Emperor personas, but yeah, in terms of fighting capability, I feel like he's kind of outclassed by the other Emperor personas. But yeah. So yeah, that's what I think about Vishnu. Not amazing, but yeah, still has an amazing design though. It's really, really interesting to look at. And yeah, he is Vishnu. Vishnu is normally pretty good in most Persona games, but unfortunately, the first one, not so much. Final thing I'm going to talk about is that he returns to the Light Glaive tablet, which can be bought at the casino, so not worth it again. And also it's a one-time fusion, so yeah, why would you do that? See, that's Vishnu. Like I said, very mixed opinion on him, but very interesting persona, and a very cool, like, first really ultimate persona in this game. And yeah, even though Vishnu isn't, like I said, the ultimate persona, there is at least one other persona that I think does an even better job of doing that. So that's good at least, but anyway, onwards to the next persona. Next up we have, for Hierophant, Indra. So yeah, we have another Hindu deity. He is the Hindu god of war, weather, lightning, thunder, and rain, and was also the king of the Devas, which made him the most important god in the Vedic religion. This is like the religion before Hinduism, basically, kind of. He would become less important when Hinduism started being worshipped due to the Trimurti, because most Hindus worship them. He was imposing but also benevolent and generous to his worshippers, as he would help bring peace and prosperity as well as end droughts, thanks to his rain, of course. But anyway, so to fuse him, you need the Taurus stomach bag, and that's dropped from Ouroboros. And he also needs a social fusion with Hanya and Girmakala. And this results in a white upward pointing arrow fusion, and that can allow you to inherit. I believe you can get Hama from Hanya or Bufala from Girmakala. I recommend Bufala. But yeah, he doesn't have a design for Persona 1, so I just use his SVD1 design, but I kind of wish he got an updated design because it would look pretty cool, and Indra is kind of an interesting deity as well, so that's something I would like to see. But anyway, so I wasn't a big fan of Hierophant personas, but I feel like Indra does do a lot more than most Hierophant personas, which is why I kind of like him, to be honest. So his stats make it look a lot more interesting to me. He has a decent magic attack, and his other stats are pretty good too. Of course, he has high vitality. He also has a good dex stat, and then his luck's pretty good too. His resistances are also good. He's only weak to machine guns, death and curse, and then he actually resists a good amount too. Also, he's weak to nuclear, but not as much, of course. So yeah, very good defensive persona. So yeah, if you get him to Nanjo, he'll do a good job, because Nanjo is normally got good vitality. Of course, if he's high enough level. But anyway, I like him because he's actually a Hierophant persona that seems pretty good offensively. He has Muhammad, which, yeah, could be nice. It's mainly just a utility skill, because, yeah, it can basically mark Dark Weak enemies with death, basically. Which is not bad. He gets a Burning Spear, which is a very decent spear attack that can do decent damage. Sunray Geki's alright. But yeah, Maziodine, which he gets later, is of course a lot better. He gets the Kaja. The Kaja is like his only support skill, unless you want to maybe cut Mahama as a support skill, because of how it works. But yeah, it's good, the Kaja, of course, because yeah, you can of course get rid of any boss, but I kinda wish he got something a bit more, like maybe Taru Kaja or maybe Rukunda, but well. And then finally, yeah, Maziodine, that will serve him quite well for damage. So, he's pretty solid. He's definitely a lot better than most Hierophant personas, so yeah, very decent. Although yeah, the one that's slightly lower level than him, or the next highest I should be saying, Fuminar, can't really pronounce his name correctly, he's also pretty good too. He also has good support and a decent selection of skills himself. But yeah, Indra is also pretty good. I'd say he's better offensively than Fuminar, but Fuminar has Rukunda, so he definitely has a good place there. But anyway, he returns for the Holy Writ Tablet. I don't think we've actually encountered this tablet. It's the one associated with Mahama, so you can use it to either teach a persona Mahama, or use it as an item like Mahama. You can drop it, you can get it from Yaksha, they drop this sometimes, so yeah, you probably don't want to return Indra because of that. So yeah, that's Indra. I actually kinda like his design in Persona 1. I kinda wish we got a better, like, image of it, because yeah, it looks kinda interesting. And yeah, I kinda prefer the ZT1 design, which looks very basic. But anyway, let's go on to the next persona. Next up we have kind of an important one for me. For Chariot we have Lord Shiva himself. So, he is of course one 3/3 and is known as the Destroyer. This destruction is used for good, and since without destruction, new creation can take place. So Lord Shiva is considered a very benevolent god, and also because he acts against premature destruction by withstanding great suffering. This can be seen in this story, which actually kind of relevant to one game in the series, but anyway. So this is a story about Amrita, where he swallows the most deadly poison from the snake Vasuki to save the world from that poison. This story also led to him having a blue throat, which is also the color that he is most commonly depicted. And yeah, in some S&T games and Persona games, he is blue, like this one. In Hinduism, Shiva is considered one of the most important deities, and is worshipped by many Hindus as a result. He may be the most popular actually, considering that, as we learned before, Brahma's not really well worshipped. Vishnu, I believe, is worshipped less than he is, so yeah, Shiva would be the one that's worshipped the most in that case. I'm actually one of those people, so yeah, anyway. Shiva has a different design in Persona 1. It looks pretty interesting. It still shows the multiple arms that Shiva's sometimes depicted with, and yeah, he's blue in this game too, which, you know, he's normally depicted as blue in like most interpretations. And yeah, and he wears the tiger printed clothes as well, which yeah, you may see that as well in some illustrations of Shiva as well. Anyway, so for Shiva, the term he needs is the Maxi Tempest, which is dropped by Fenrir, and he also needs a special fusion. You might be thinking it's wrong wrong, but here's the thing, only wrong does in this game, so instead he has a different one, Quancha and Ganesha. Quancha serves Shiva in their mythology, and then Ganesha is of course one of Shiva's sons. But anyway, this is a pretty good fusion. It's a blue downward pointing arrow fusion, so a stat boost along with a inherited skill. Quancha has both Archidyne and Magnadyne, and not so sure which one gets passed down, but both of them are pretty good. So, because he already lands Garudyne, but if you don't mind having another Garu skill, you can always go with Ganesha's Garudyne. So anyway, Shiva, being a chariot persona, very high offensive stats. So yeah, he's gonna hit very, very hard. And it also helps that his skills are amazing too. He has Megaton Raid, which I believe is the strongest physical attack in the game. Zanmo is alright, I guess. Not great, you're probably not going to be using it. Triple Slice is pretty good. I don't think it's as good as Megaton Raid, but yeah. Garudyne, That's pretty good. And then finally, Megiddo, which, yeah, coming from Shiva, that's gonna hurt a lot. And yeah, he is level 96, so yeah, if you're able to fuse him, yeah, he's gonna clean up battles fast, and yeah, nothing's gonna really challenge you anyway, but yeah, that's really all I say about how good Shiva is in battle. Shiva's normally just really, really strong, and also sometimes has a unique skill, but not in this game. You had to wait till Persona 3, I do believe, but anyway. Unless he counts some of the exclusive fusion spells he gets in Persona 2, but anyway. Final thing about Shiva, of course, he returns with a Scorching Tablet. A very good item, but he can be bought at the casino, so I will do that. But yeah, not much else to say really. I can go more into detail with Shiva another time probably, but I think for right now this is good enough, because yeah, there's many stories about Shiva due to being a very prominent Hindu deity. And yeah, and he also has some more interesting roles in other games too. So yeah, like I said, maybe worth talking about another time a bit more. But in Persona 1, he's a very decent high level persona, and definitely one of the best for that level, I'd say. But anyway, onwards to the next one. Moving on from the Hindu deities for a little bit now, and now we're going to be looking at Pallas Athena, this time from, of course, Greek mythology. She's the Greek, and yeah, she's of the Justice Arcana, I should be saying, and is level 90. She is the Greek goddess of wisdom, courage, justice, and strength, and sprung from Zeus's forehead fully armored after he swallowed her mother Metis. She is known for fighting her war strategically, in contrast to her violent brother Eros. She aided many Greek heroes like Heracles and Perseus, and supported the Greeks during the Trojan War. She is sometimes referred as Pallas Athena, like in this game, sometimes just Athena, because she adopted the name after killing her friend Pallas in battle, and it was during this time that she was gifted the powerful piece of armor, the Aegis. So, pretty interesting. And yeah, she's actually a persona for another character in this series, but in this game she's just a good old persona that anyone could use, as long as they have good affinity with justice, obviously. But anyway, so she needs the Totem Olive Necklace. This is dropped by Fafnir, and of course she needs a special fusion, this time between Scylla and Arachne, which results in a white circle fusion, so no inherited skill. So like Skuld, she has this. She also repels all physical attacks, but is basically weak to all magic. But again, I didn't actually measure Skuld, but because she's so high level, that's probably not going to... the weakness to magic is probably not going to interfere with it too much. I can see it being a little bit annoying. But anyway, so what I kind of like about her is that she's actually pretty strong support-wise. Let's go over the skills though. Deathbound is pretty decent physical damage. Steel Wall is pretty interesting. It's basically a better Tetracon because it lasts for 2 turns, and yeah, it reflects physical damage. Of course, she can't really use it herself because she already reflects physical damage. It's more so to assist her pie members. I don't think it's that great because it's mainly because physical attacks aren't that scary in Persona 1. It's mainly magical attacks, so Crystal Wall's a lot better in my opinion. But it's cool that she has it. Zeodyne is pretty good for damage, and Tarukacha, another good support ability, and a lot better than Steel Wall in my opinion. And then finally she gets Mazandyne, which is also pretty good for damage. So yeah, very decent persona, and yeah, her stats again are very good. Most Justice personas are pretty good offensively, and she is no exception. Good magic attack, good dex stat, a good agility stat, very decent. Oh yeah, by the way, if you're wondering, I used a double summon design because I thought it would fit better. And yeah, it does seem like her Persona 1 design is kind of based on it. I should have mentioned that earlier, but well. But anyway, she returns for the Caesar armor, which is the strongest piece of armor. But like I said, the Caesar leg, it isn't that much better than the Yark and Sturm armor, and you had to return a very high level persona for it, so I wouldn't do it. Especially if you really want... if you really want Cease armor on everyone, yeah, that's gonna take a while, isn't it? But anyway, but yeah, I do like Palace Athena in this game quite a bit. She's pretty good offensively and defensively, so she's definitely got, she's definitely fits quite well with that strategic battling that she is known for. So that's pretty cool. But anyway, I think about 2, I did have a look at her skill set in Persona 3. Again, she focuses on support in that game, so yeah, again, it fits well with her being fighting her war strategically, which I find really cool. She does have a high SP cost, but yeah, that's a common thing, so I shouldn't take that against her. But yeah, 71's definitely looks like quite a bit. But anyway, enough with the rambling, let's go on to the next one. Time for the highest level persona in the game, and probably the strongest too. And this is a S&T game, and as you'd expect, that's gonna be Lucifer, of the Devil Arcana. So, Lucifer, he is known as the Morning Star, and was the highest ranking angel serving God before his pride overtook him, and made him rebel against God, causing him to become a fallen angel in the process. In S&T, Satan is generally depicted as the personification of the devil in the Old Testament of the Bible, with Lucifer being depicted as the personification of the devil in the New Testament. I believe he has some other bases too. I think Dante's Inferno is what it's called, that helped solidify Lucifer's depiction in S&T games, but yeah, I'm not 100% sure about that. But anyway, so yeah, this is a very interesting persona to talk about. First off, he needs the Morning Star to be fused, which you get from returning Ishtar, who's level 65 Empress persona. So he also needs a social fusion, obviously, between Salome and Pickles. This results in a white upward pointing arrow fusion. I believe, I know that Pickles can give you Hammer on, but I doubt Lucifer can get that, so you might want to just go with Sanma instead, with Salome. So, Lucifer's quite a bit different, even to other devil personas too, and not just personas in general. So he has bad affinity with everyone but Reiji, who he has best affinity with. And this is important because that also means that only Reiji can rank up Lucifer, because he's the only one who can use skills of Lucifer. Because yeah, bad affinity means that you can equip the persona, but you can't use its skills. Why is this important? Well, it's not listed here, but Lucifer powers up when you get to max rank. How much? Well, he maxes all of his stats, and he gets 999 magic attack and defense. So, yeah. He basically triggers God mode when he gets to max rank. And yeah, let's couple that also with the fact that he's a devil persona. So he resists all but 3 elements, so yeah. Max rank Lucifer can be put on anyone, because again, he does have worse affinity than anyone, it's just bad affinity. So you can just slap him on whoever you want, as long as they're level 99 of course, and then they'll basically just be invincible because Lucifer has great resistances, and then they can just use their physical attacks and gun attacks, and yeah, there's nothing that the enemy can do to kill them. And then if you're Rage, you can even use his skills. So yeah, Lucifer's basically invincible. Like he is in most games. Like for example, Persona 3, he can team up with Satan to use the Armageddon attack, which instantly kills everything, from what I've heard. He also commonly gets Victory Cry in the Persona series, which heals all HP and SP after battle. So yeah, there's just, you know, fits in the trend of Lucifer just being incredibly strong in Persona. And yeah, he even has a new design in this game, and it actually looks really cool, in my opinion. Very different from... It's a pretty decent mix between Hillel, what Hillel looks like, and what Lucifer looks like. I think it looks pretty cool. But anyway. So let's talk about Lucifer's skills. I mean, he's very dark based as you expect. He gets Ma Eha, he gets Hell Drop, which is Oriacus, Mamudo. I mean, name-wise it fits, but yeah, it's alright attack. Mamudo's pretty good. Instantly killing angels is quite nice. He gets Hell Eyes for instant death, a pretty high chance I'm pretty sure. And finally Dark Verdict, if you want to use some of that dark damage during a boss fight. So anyway, the last thing about Lucifer of course is that he returns for an item, but this one's actually unique to him, so it may actually be worth it. This is the Falsehood Tablet, which can be used as an item or teach the persona skill Omega Cluster. This is a dart-based attack that instantly kills one enemy per turn. I'm not entirely sure how this works, but from what I can tell, from most of the scripts I've seen, that's kind of how it works. But yeah, of course, probably not many people have seen how it works because, you know, Lucifer's the highest level persona in the game. So yeah, he's quite hard to, you know, get and then return. Especially because, yeah, you need Rage in your party if he's gonna level up. If you don't have Rage in your party, he's kinda average and not that great to be honest. You're probably better off with other dark attacking personas like maybe Satan. But if you have Rage in your party, yeah, you can become like a god basically. As very fitting for Lucifer, I guess, even though he's technically not a god, but yeah, whatever. So, yeah, this is a pretty interesting depiction of Lucifer in this series. And yeah, very interesting once again. So, anyway, let's go on to the next persona. Now time for probably one of the weird episodes we're going to talk about today. The Tower Persona Amatsu Mikabushi. So there's two Tower Personas in this game, but he is actually the highest leveled one, despite the fact that he's actually the base Tower Persona, because the other one needs a turn despite the fact that it's 22 levels lower. But anyway. So Amatsu Mikabushi is the god of the stars in Japanese myth, and he opposed the Amatsu in the takeover of Ashihara no Nakatsu Kuni, which is the world between heaven and hell. I guess, I don't know if it's exactly like Purgatory, but that's what it seems like. His arcana could relate to the fact that in Western culture, he was portrayed as some kind of primordial evil god, despite the fact that in Japanese myth, he has nothing to do with that. Kinda weird how that worked. So, he's the only, like I said, he's the only Tower Persona that doesn't need a turn for fusion. So, his fusion works like a normal one. So my recommended fusion for this is a Wilder and a Foul combination, which results in a white downward pointing arrow fusion. And this can allow Grimies to inherit Mazir down turn. But yeah, with Grimies being level 68, you do need to be quite leveled for that. But yeah, if you have since he is level 88, you should be able to get the level 68 Grimies pretty easily in that case. But anyway, so we haven't actually talked too much about what Tower Personas are like. They have good affinity with the males and bad affinity with the females. And Reiji has best affinity with Tower Personas. But yeah, this only applies to him technically, Amatsu Mikabushi, because the other Tower Persona can only be equipped by Reiji. But anyway, so Amatsu Mikabushi is pretty interesting. He has pretty good stats for physical attacking due to having a good strength as well as having good luck and vitality as well, with his other stats only being kind of average. He actually has good elemental affinities as it resists most physical attacks, and is only weak to thrown physical damage and light, although he is neutral to most magic attacks. So, I'd say he works as an alright tank. I probably don't like him as much as, let's say, Barbatos in the Hangman Arcana, or even Mott from the Death Arcana as a defensive persona, but he'll do alright. He focuses mainly on status. He learns, let's go with all of them I guess. He gets Domina to put enemies to sleep. Mamuto is, again, pretty decent. For just one-shotting angels and doing decent damage. He gets Daylight, probably not as good as Domina. Because your blind status, it's good, but not amazing in my opinion. Although yeah, making enemies easier to hit as well as making them miss more doesn't sound too bad. Then another status element, Makacham, which that could also be good, kinda like sleep. Then D cover, if you know the enemy can heal, this could be decent. especially if you know that if they're actually vulnerable to oracles. And finally he gets Lightning Kick, which is an alright physical attack, nothing too amazing though. His offenses won't be too bad, he has a good magic attack, his dex isn't the best, but if you give him a Ziodyne, he'll do some decent damage, I guess. But yeah, you could even consider, if you don't want to use that Ziodyne fusion that I mentioned, and you want to give up on the bullets, you can give him a skill tablet if you so wish, which isn't bad. You can give him like Megidolon, that'll still serve him quite well. But anyway, finally, of course, he returns for the Doggerel tablet, which can be bought in the casino, so not worth it again. So as for the artwork I decided to use, he doesn't have any official art from Persona 1, so I actually used his appearance from Persona X Detective Narrative. This is a manga, non-canon manga, that basically tells a story about Naruto after the events of Persona 4. And yeah, this is apparently her persona that she uses in that series. I don't know like anything about it. I have heard it mentioned before, but yeah, I've heard that it's very polarizing. But yeah, that's really all I know about it, to be honest. But anyway, enough about that. Let's go on to the next persona. The final Hindu deity that we need to talk about today is Garuda of the Sun Arcana. So, he is the mount for Vishnu in Hindu myth, and is considered a symbol of courage in Hinduism too. There's not much else in Hinduism, but in Buddhism, the Garudas are intelligent predatory birds, and are considered the lowest of the devas in that religion. In both religions though, Garuda is the enemy of the Naga race, so yeah, there's that. So Garuda is pretty easy to fuse actually. His totem is the Karura, which I believe is what he's known as in Japan. You can buy this at the casino, and as I listed there, it's 4,000 coins, but if you don't want to gamble there, you can just pay 400,000 yen basically. He's a special fusion obviously. He wants Rakshasa and Yaksha, and this results in a white Upadara fusion, which might mean that Yaksha can inherit or pass down Mahometo. So Garuda is very, not left-side, he's very one-dimensional, mainly just focusing on wind damage as you see here. He has Magarula, Spike Claw and Death Claw as his physical attacks I should mention. They're not very good, they're light damage, so I doubt they're going to do anything. Then he gets Earthly Vortex, Garudyne, and then finally Magarudyne. So yeah, he's basically only wind skills, and most of these are outclassed by Magarudyne at max rank, so yeah. He is mainly he's only going to be using that basically, once you get him to max rank. Or of course Mahama if you decide to inherit that skill. On the plus side, he does offer lots of agility and luck to his user, so if you need someone to be fast, then Garuda can definitely help with that. But there's another good persona for raising your agility by a lot, that would be Suzaku, who's lower level at level 55, and they also get like tons of agility. And yeah, they're a bit less restrictive on the fusion as well, even though they're also kind of linear too, mainly only focusing on fire skills. But anyway, finally for Garuda, he returns for Evil Wind tablet, which can also be bought in the casino. So yeah, again, not worth it. I kind of wish that he used this Devil Summon design. His design, if you couldn't tell, is clearly based on what he normally looks like. His SMT1 design, I do believe. But his Devil Summon design looks so cool in my opinion. But alas. Anyway, onwards to the next one. Here's another persona I'm looking forward to talking about. The fuminar of the Judgement Arcana. And yeah, what's cool about fuminar is that he's actually only appeared in 2 Persona games. These happen to be the Persona games I've actually played. Persona 1 and Persona 5 Royal. In both games he's a very high level Persona, with his Persona 5 Royal incarnation being the ultimate Persona of the Counselor Arcana. But anyway, First, let's talk about him in this game. Then I guess I can talk a little bit about him in Persona 5 as well. Persona 5 Royal. But anyway, he is the good state of mind that accomplishes duty in Zoroastrian myth. He is also one of the 6 Amesha Spenters, and represents all animals of creation, especially cattle. His eternal opponent is the demon of evil form, Akamana. So, he also needs a total confusion, the Daily Meal, which is dropped from a Dromelech, and he also needs a social fusion between Shin and Cherub. And this results in a white circle fusion, so no skill inheritance. So just like Persona 5 Royal, he's very light focused. Let's go over that then. He gets Makoha, which of course is pretty good for dealing with dark face Ramen counters. Final Strike is very interesting. He's the only other Persona to get it. So yeah, only him and Tyr get this. And when you're at level 94, that's gonna do a lot of damage. Of course you kill yourself after you use it, but it might not be too bad in terms of damage. Obviously. But yeah, you may just be better off just attacking normally. He gets Mahama, which again could be quite useful as like a decent way to clear out dark enemies again, but he also has Makoha, which does a pretty good job at too. But yeah, like I said, again, you can use it to like basically mark a dark based enemy for death, basically. He gets Hieroglyphin, and yeah, this is the last Hieroglyphin used in the game. And again, that's great for these last couple of battles in the post game. As again, the bosses, they really hate this. And he gets Vidya Rahan, so he can help out with healing, but he does cost a lot of SP, so you may want to just focus on attacking with him. And yeah, he's kind of a support-based persona like he is a Persona 5 Royal as well, which is kind of cool. But anyway, and yeah, he's a Judgement persona, so he has very, very good resistances. He basically reflects all magic except dark, and he's not weak to too many physical attacks. And he has great stats too, especially in his agility. So, he can serve you very well. Anyway, let's go on to what he returns for. This is also a pretty interesting item, and it's one of a kind. The Divinity Tablet. This can be used to teach or use the skill Alpha Blaster. It's the light counterpart of Omega Cluster and cuts 50% of the enemy's HP per turn. Again, I'm not 100% sure how this works, but it does sound pretty interesting. So anyway, fuminar. Another thing about him is that his design was basically unchanged in Persona 5 Royal as well, which is interesting again. And yeah, the last thing I'll say about him too, he had kind of an interesting role in my brother's first playthrough of Persona 5 Royal. My brother actually used him against a certain early game boss, or not early game, a certain boss in the early parts of the third semester, and they only use physical and light, and my brother had absorbed physical on him, so yeah, he basically completely walled that boss, which is kind of funny considering the story behind that fight, I guess, but and also the character that you need to max out the Confidant with to get this persona in the first place. I believe he also returns for a pretty interesting item. I think it's a gun for one of the new characters in the third semester. But anyway, so yeah, I really like fuminar because yeah, he had a really cool role in Persona 5 Royal in my opinion, and it was great to see him come back as well, especially because yeah, he basically doesn't appear in any games beside Persona 1 and Persona 5 Royal. And yeah, it's good to see a Persona 1 reference in that game as well. Considering that, yeah, Persona 5 does take a lot of inspirations from the earlier Persona games. Like through the demon negotiations, the use of the gun, stuff like that. And also, I guess, the dungeons too, being fixed. But yeah, that's fuminar. And yeah, Ultimate Judgement persona in this game, which is quite cool, not gonna lie. And yeah, he's basically like the light counterpart of Lucifer, although yeah, he's definitely not as strong. He doesn't get the insane stat boost that Lucifer does. But yeah, that's really all I gotta say. We're almost done with the Fool's Journey. We only have one Arcana left, so let's go for it. Last up for today is Shokun of the World Arcana. So, he is also known as Zhu Yin in Chinese, with shokun being what he's called in Japanese. He is a Chinese light and weather dragon deity, as depicted as a 300-mile-long dragon with an elderly human face, which actually can be seen in his Persona 1 design. Unfortunately, I don't have that here. I only have his double summoner design, but oh well. He is responsible for the night and day, as well as the changing of the seasons, the rain and the wind, and his illumination can even pierce the underworld. So yeah, he's pretty powerful deity in Chinese myth, not gonna lie. Because yeah, he does quite a bit. Anyway, so he requires the Totem Dragon Scale. Depending on your route, in Sebek, you get it in the Alaya Cavern, and then if you're in Snow Queen, you get it in the Ice Castle. Basically, both of them are late game dungeons. He needs a special fusion once again, this time with Tofei and Naga. This results in a downward pointing arrow fusion. Unfortunately, like I mentioned there, you're only getting Megami because Naga doesn't inherit a skill, so yeah, kind of unfortunate. So anyway, he, as you can tell by his skill set, he likes to learn the breath type skills. There's Block Breath, which can blind and does nerf damage. Fire Breath, which does fire damage. Ice Breath, which does ice damage and can freeze. He also gets Guguraku Fall, which again, alright. And then Poison Breath, which can poison of course, and do nerf damage. But yeah, none of these are impressive because they're all like medium tier damage. Then things get good and he learns a Megidolon at max rank. So yeah, that's basically a reason for using it. And yeah, he is not terrible in terms of his other things. His stats are pretty good. He starts with 99 Vitality, which is pretty cool. And has a good magic attack. His resistances aren't too bad either. He basically resists all physical attacks, but is weak to most magic attacks, like most world personas. Which, yeah, considering he's level 97 though, those weaknesses are probably not too bad for him. But yeah. He does mainly focus on Vitality, his other stats are only okay though. So yeah, kind of a weird last persona to talk about, but yeah. He's kind of just very strange, but still pretty good. And yeah, he's a world persona, so pretty much anyone could use him. He returns for a Gale Tablet, which can be bought in the casino, so not worth it. So yeah, that's really it. Not much to say else. We're done with talking about all these Ultimate Personas. Kind of Ultimate Personas, I should be saying, because yeah, they're all the highest level Personas of each of the Arcanas. You really don't need, like, most of these, because while the post-game is kind of difficult, if you're around like level 90 for it, that's very overkill. You'll probably beat it very easily, no matter what you do, so yeah. But I did want to talk about some of these personas because yeah, a lot of them are very interesting. I really wanted to also get off my chest talking about Vishnu, considering that he is kind of a big deal in this game, so yeah. That was one of the main reasons why I wanted to do this video, but yeah. Now that's all done, next time we'll be starting the post-game actually, of Sebek, which will be, of course, the Mikage Ruins. We need to travel deep underneath there to do those optional fights that I've been hinting at, so yeah. I'll see you guys again for that.